Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third edition of the Softball Canada webinar series 2021. The theme for March is fitness and self-care. My name is Frankie Billingsley. I'm one of the members of the Official Development Committee. I'll be your host for this evening, and I'm pleased to be joined by Trevor Topping. Trevor is... Hi, Trevor.
Hi.
Trevor Topping is a level 5 and Wbsc certified umpire from Kitchener, Ontario. Trevor's been umpiring fast pitch for 31 years. Some of his career highlights include working 5 Canadian championships, the Wbsc Junior Men's World Championships in 2018, and the USA Softball International Cup in 2019. Trevor is a fitness enthusiast who will be sharing some ideas and tips for how we can all continue to stay fit at home, and I'm really looking forward to hearing his presentation. So Trevor, I'm going to turn the reins over to you.
Okay, thanks, Frankie. So I thought I'd develop a presentation about fitness at home. A lot of our gyms are still closed, well, at least in Ontario, some areas the gyms are starting to reopen, but you have to book appointments, and 10 people are only allowed in. Even my gym I'm a workplace, it's still closed, so I'm still working at home. And just thought I'd give some ideas to umpires of some of the strategies I've taken to start a fitness program and some exercise that I use. So here's the agenda for tonight. So why should umpires care about fitness? How to start a fitness program, and what kind of exercise do you recommend, and what about cardio, and also what resources are available. So the first step, one thing umpires, if you're going to be an international umpire, is the Wbsc fitness standards. I won't go too deep in this. This is the current test. Back in 2017, when I was going for my Wbsc, actually the Canadian Championship, even 2016, I used the Wbsc test as my cardio. That's how I practice for it. So there's one strategy. Everyone will have a strategy to pass the test, but these are the 4 tests. So we got the plate squat test, the 27-meter dash, the T-test, and the 1,000-meter run. Another reason is to keep up level play. Players are becoming more and more motivated, highly trained, highly competitive, and especially elite level. So we have a responsibility to keep up with those athletes. So you know, the athletes are trained all year round. That's a little different in the past. Usually players used to play, you know, hockey in the winter, ball in the summer. Now they're becoming a little more specialized. So we should keep up with our training so we can keep up with the play. It'll also help you enhance your ability to receive major appointments when the powers that be are making a point for, say, Canadian Championships or maybe international assignments. They may consider your fitness, so it could become a competitive advantage or possibly a disadvantage if you're not keeping up with your fitness. Another reason is quarantine has caused our bodies to become deconditioned. If we're not keeping up with our fitness, there's 5 things that could happen here, which are your blood pressure could rise, reduce metabolism. We're just not doing a whole lot, so that can reduce muscle mass, reduce cardiovascular health, VO2 max reduction, just how well our oxygen is flowing through our lungs. And it can also impact our mood. I know when I skip a day of fitness, doesn't happen too often, but sometimes I'm going through my CPA studies right now, so sometimes they're late nights. I might adjust my plan, so there might be days where I don't exercise, and I find I become out of routine, and it can impact my mood. So just don't have that as much energy. While you're training, so here are some examples. You maybe lose weight, gain strength, gain muscle, increase your VO2 max. There might be various reasons to train. How many times are you going to work out during the week? I work out 5 to 6 times a week. That might be a little much for someone who's starting out. When you're starting out, you might want to start off small, maybe 1 day a week, 2 to 3 times a week. But as you go along, you might want to increase it. Yeah, and even I work out from an hour to almost 2 hours. It depends on what kind of routine I'm following. Sorry, excuse me, that leads to the next point. What kind of workout routine are you going to use? It could be strength, cardiovascular, endurance, balance, stability, agility, or flexibility. And also, when are you going to train? I find first thing in the morning is best for me. I wake up between 4 and 5 in the morning. I spend like an hour, 2 hours to go through that routine. And that what works for me. And I've made it a routine, so I'm fairly consistent about it. So. And then you have to decide where you're going to train. Especially when you're training at home, you might be limited in space, so you have to decide what works best for you. I have the basement, all my equipment's down there, so that's what works best for me. I had hopes to convert my garage to a gym, but I haven't got that yet. Equipment's become a lot more expensive, so I've focused on things that are a little more cost effective, and I'll get into the types of equipment I've used farther down the line. We also have to want to decide what kind of rep ranges you're going to use and rest times. Rep ranges, I tend to vary it. Your body adapts, so if you want to keep progressing, I find you have to change your rep ranges from time to time. Maybe every 12 to 16 weeks, you might want to, so right now I'm doing a high volume, lower weight, higher volume workout. You might want to switch to a heavier weight, low volume workout to adjust. I've also used pyramid sets and drop sets and rest times. I try to keep it efficient, so I try to stick to a 30-second to 1 minute rest time, but it's also been proven that if you wait 2 to 3 minutes, that's effective as well. What kind of equipment are you going to use? Some people might be none, and you can use bodyweight train. Bodyweight train does work. I don't know, for me, I like some more intensity, so I like to increase the resistance, and so I use dumbbells, I use resistance bands, and various types of resistance bands. I got the resistance tubing, I have the pull-up bands, and also got the mini loop bands, which help with some of the leg exercise. You can even use them for leg exercise as well. But you can also use kettlebells, barbells, even do-it-yourself weights. Some household products, you can fill water bottles to increase some weight. I know some people have done that. I know when I injured my shoulder many years ago, when I started recovering, I was using soup cans, so you can even use that as well. And also, I've been using stability ball at home. They're cheap, and so something I've included in my repertoire. And when I work out, I also want to set some kind of atmosphere. So I do listen to music or a podcast. Use something that motivates you. I find that's it just gives you a little bit of atmosphere. I find if you got nothing in the background, I find it's not as motivating. But again, do what works best for you. And here's some exercises that you can use. I focused on the bodyweight exercise, assuming that no one has equipment. So this chart I thought was very good. It's something that I could share with everyone. And a lot of the exercises I've throughout quarantine. So starting with abs, you can do sit-ups, reverse crunches. That's just moving your legs in and out. Bicycle crunches, just like it sounds, you move your legs in a bicycle manner. Flutter kicks, leg raises, elbow planks. They're all good for abs exercises. And then the quads, you can do lunges, high knees. In high knees, you can either do the running style, or you can just do just on the spot. Side kicks work well. Mountain climbers for me, I think it worked best for abs, but they can work the quads as well. Plank jump ins, they're just like a modified burpee. I mean, I'm not a fan of burpees, but they are effective. I will do them, but I complain about us. I'm doing them. And also lunge stretch. So that's just doing a lunge and then kicking up with your knees. So going to glutes, squats. There's various types of squat exercise you can do. You can do narrow squats, you can do wide squats, goblet squats if you got dumbbells. There's various things you can do with that. Donkey kicks are good. Glute bridges, that's where I tend to bring in the mini loop bands, just to add in some extra resistance there. Jump knee tucks, yeah, they're good, but I got to watch in my basement. I probably got about a foot clearance between me and my ceiling, so I may modify that to make that work. Fly steps, they're just like, I also refer to them as aeroplanes. They're good for the legs, and also side leg raises. Then we're leaning in triceps. You can do close grip push-ups, also known as diamond push-ups. Tricep dips, usually they work best with a bench, but you can use your couch. You can use steps. There's various things you can use to if you don't have a bench. Tricep extensions. I find I do my best tricep work with dumbbells, but that's an example of a body workout. It's just moving your arms in and out just to work the triceps. Get-ups, also known as Turkish get-ups. That's the body weight style, but if you want to up the challenge, throw in a kettlebell or a dumbbell, and it'd be a great exercise. Bunches work with triceps as well. I know I've been working in some HIIT routines in my routine, and punches tend to be included in that. And also side chops, they're good for the triceps, but also good for the obliques as well. Chin-ups might be a little tougher. I'd be careful with using beams in your house. I know I've seen some fail exercise online, and some people have used beams in their house and brought them down. Back fist and also door frame rows. That I've definitely used those in the past. I know in basement, my previous place, it had a post right in the middle of the basement, so I could use those for door frame rows. Body rows, it's showing chairs, and that might be a little awkward. I know for me, they work best with a Smith machine if you got it, but if you don't, you can possibly a squat rack could work, but something that you can just pull yourself up to make that rowing motion. Sitting pull-ups and pseudo planche, so that's just reversing your hands and doing a push-up style to work your biceps. And then go lean into the back. We got pull-ups, great exercise. Do them many times at the gym. Also scapular shrugs, just like it sounds. So basically, being in a push-up position, just squeeze your scapulars together. Supermans, just lifting your arms and legs up and down. Back lifts, that's just driving your elbows into the ground and lifting yourself up and down. Arching. We also got alternating arm leg planks. First angels, that's basically doing like a snow angel, but on your chest. And then leading into chest, we got push-ups, chest expansions, chest squeezes, pike push-ups, shoulder taps, and also clapping push-ups. And then we go, what about cardio? I always like to start with the strength resistance type of workout, and then finish off my training with a cardio. So a lot of routines online that you can find. The one on the left there, the 10-minute cardio circuit, that'd be a great workout. You can do exercise for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds after 4 exercises, then repeat 2 times. That's the kind of workout I tend to finish with right now. I'm hoping the weather starts getting better. I'll start going up for my runs again. So that leads into the other suggestions. So if the HIIT style workout's not for you, you can do walking, running, biking, stair climbing, rollerblading, swimming, and any of the cardio machines. And there's many other options as well. And resources, and I'll lead in saying I'm not getting paid by any of these people to promote this, but these are some of the apps that I'm using. And so the Nike Training Club app right now, it's for free. They were charging before the pandemic, so the pandemic came along. A lot of apps have gone free, so there's a lot of options out there right now. Nike Running Club I've used to track my runs. The app that I'm using right now is the Cage Muscle app. They got a lot of routines in there. They are promoting their supplements. I admit I don't use them. They tend to be quite expensive in Canada, but I have other brands that I'm using. And also the Japley Gym Fitness app. That one, there's many different types of routines. your standard 3-set workouts, 10 reps. They provide a lot of those, and then it also get into TRX, also cardio type routines, and also resistance band routines. And you also get a lot of information from the social media websites, so Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Google, all those websites. But you do have to compare careful with some of the information that's out there. There is some misinformation, and that leads to my next topic. There are many podcasts I listen to, and some that are fitness related. Mind Pump, that's why they created the podcast, was to eliminate a lot of the misinformation out there. And they're all former trainers, and actually I think they still do some training, but they provide a lot of fitness tips, and they take questions from the listeners. And no, I think it's a great podcast. Joe DeFranco, he also has good information too. He trains a lot of professional athletes and WWE wrestlers and such, so he's got a lot of good information. And Fitness to Refs with Tom Howland, I think that's a good one as well. So, and that's the presentation. Now on to questions.
Thanks, Trevor. That's so great to have somebody kind of walk us through what they're doing in this interesting world that we find ourselves in, where, you know, gyms have been closed. And I have a few questions for you, if you don't mind, while we wait and see if there's other ones. What other kinds of programs have you done other than the ones that you've, I mean, when you were first starting, for example, was there a different kind of program that you put yourself on?
I mean, I probably I meant now I follow whatever, like the Cage Muscle has a lot of the fitness programs, and I tend to follow those now. But when I was first going to the gym, I probably was kind of winging it, I have to admit, and I go maybe 3 or 4 times a week, do your standard 3 sets of 10. And now that there's a lot more information available with the apps and stuff, I like to try different routines. I just find each different kind of routine gives a different kind of stimulus. So I look for different options, try different challenges, and yeah, so that's pretty much where I've gone now. Like now, a lot of the routines, they could be 5 sets, they could be pyramid sets now, drop sets. So a lot of I look for variety now.
Yeah, that's so funny. So there's a question in the chat that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. What kind of this is so good. Way to go, Alan. What program would you suggest for someone who wants to pass the Wbsc fitness test? That's one of the questions I wrote down to ask you as well while you were presenting.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm not a personal trainer, but my advice is to practice that test. I know when I first, like the test has evolved over time. I know when I first started out, one of the tests was the wall sit, and I practiced that because that was one that was really a challenge for me. And when I was finally meeting that standard, they took it away. But even when I was going to, you know, my the seminar for to get my certification, I just continually practice tests. So I would do my normal strength training test, and I would use that test as my cardio, rather than you know, go on elliptical or a treadmill or stuff. I would go where the gym I was attending at that time. There was a high school right across the street, and I just hit the track, and I would do all my routines there. And they had a spot I could do my wall sits, and so that was my strategy.
So Trevor, for somebody that's just starting out and they're trying to figure out, and if that is their goal and they're aiming towards that, would it be fair to say the Wbsc fitness tests are really a combination of cardio and strength?
I would agree.
Yeah. So would you suggest to somebody who's trying to figure out a way to put a program together for themselves that would ultimately lead to success in passing those, that they come up with like a 2-3 strategy one week and then a 3-day 2-day the following week, alternate between strength and cardio? Or what would you suggest for them?
Yeah, and I'll do what works for me is to do the combination of strength and cardio on the same day. But not everyone has the time to do a 2-hour workout every day. So if you want to break it up, you might want to do maybe strength one day and then follow up the next day with cardio. There's different strategies of doing it. You got to do what works best for you. I know for me that's what works. I like to, I guess you can say, go all out and do the strength and combination cardio every day, because that works for me. But what I do might not work for you. You got to find what works for you.
Yeah, I think I can juggle a lot of things, Trevor, but I can assure you I don't have 2 hours a day to do my workouts.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I have to be really I have to be quite diligent about the way that I spend the time that I do have to concentrate on it. So I'm just trying to think about you know, even though we're at home, many people are on Zoom calls from 8 until 5 with their work or whatever. So
Yeah.
just interesting trying to squeeze in a half hour or 45 minutes and how to maximize it. So I like that idea of you know, alternating between different styles of workouts to still achieve what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's what I said. If you're fine, even I know I say I go 2 hours, but there's times where I might be a little time crunched, and I might say I might just do my strength workout in the morning, and then if I have time at night, I'll do my cardio at night.
Right.
And that way, you're getting that stimulus in the morning, and you're also getting stimulus at night. So that's also a good strategy as well. But again, if it's for someone just starting out, that might be a little much. So you might want to start off small, maybe the alternating days. If you only want to do 3 or 4 times a week, you might. I found the sweet spot for me, but at the same time, what works for me is not going to work for someone else. So they got to find their sweet spot. And if you've got resources to reach out to, and maybe do listen to one of these podcasts, reach out to professionals and get advice, and or heck, you can even ask me for advice too. You know, for those who I get, just send me an email, trevor.topping@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation about it. So
Nice. There's a few other questions in the chat, Trevor. What liquids do you use?
liquids?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Dwayne's referring to like pre-workout, post-workout, or just generally. So maybe they
So
can.
basically a line of supplements. So the supplements I use, I try not to overuse the pre-workout, and the reason being, if you use it too much, you'll find that you'll lose that pump that you need. I use it on the days where I feel I need an energy boost to get going, and you know when you wake up in the morning when you need it. So I wouldn't overuse it, because being that a lot of it's well, there are some pre-workouts without caffeine, but you find with caffeine, the more you use it, the more you need. So I try to, if I do use it, I'll use it one day and maybe let it go for a few days, and then if I feel like I need it again, then I'll hit it again. But other supplements I use, protein, for definitely the whey protein. And also the other supplement I use is creatine. It's been proven there's a lot of health benefits to creatine, so I use that as well. There's also vitamins I take, like multivitamin, and there's some also vitamins that were recommended by a doctor, because I had some readings where certain vitamins were low, so I take those as well. So those are kind of supplements that I'm taking.
Nice. I think you just knocked off the next question, which was
Okay.
yeah, what considerations do you do with diet supplements? So I think you've answered that. But I'll let that individual let me know if you didn't quite hit the mark there. What would you suggest for more senior umpires to maintain their fitness? Hardcore training isn't good for old bones, says this participant.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. So I'll admit, with YouTube workouts, and if you're using the HIIT style workouts, the nice thing is most of them that I tend to roll a dice, and I don't say, oh, I like that person, I'm gonna use a workout. I try to mix it up, because you get a different variety. But a lot of those workouts will give you modifications for. So the one exercise was jump tucks. Well, jump tucks can be hard on the knees, so they usually give a modification of something you can do that's similar to exercise. So if a certain exercise doesn't work for you, you can modify it to make it easier on your bones, for example.
So just before I get to the next question that's in the chat box, I'm wondering if have you dabbled at all, Trevor, in like the yoga type strengthening exercises?
Yeah, absolutely. I went through a period where I was going through some back pain, and I think it was just I was overdoing it with the squats at the gym, and I found the yoga really helped the back. So I did go a period about a good 3 or 4 months where I was doing yoga just about every day, and until I got rid of that pain, and I tried to keep up with it, but yoga is not one of my favorite routines, but it's quite beneficial if you're looking to, improve your flexibility or work out aches and pains. And even talking about recovery, I even go for massages, once a month during the off season. During the season, I go twice a month. So I find that getting a registered RMT massage is really helpful to keep your body going.
Yeah, I just was thinking that for the participant that made the comment about workouts for people that are sensitive, like with their joints and stuff. Those yoga for strength might be really good for the planks and the side planks, and then just those agility type things as you're going through the workout. That they might be decent for people that are in that group.
Absolutely. No, it is quite beneficial. The hit style workout's not for everyone. I met some of the apps I used. Actually, even the Nike Training Club, I've moved away from because I just find I wasn't getting the variety anymore. But for someone starting out with it, it was a good app. But I needed to move away to get more variety. And I find a lot of the workouts now on YouTube, they mix it up a lot more. I think the problem is I've gone through a lot of the workouts on like the training app, and the nice thing with Cage Muscle, there's so many workout routines on that app that I'm always getting that constant variety.
We did. Wayne clarified his question. He was actually wondering about what you use for electrolytes. That was the liquid that he was referring to.
Yeah, and maybe that's not something I need to do. But I know during the ball season, electrolytes definitely would be Gatorade, but there's probably better options out there. I know a lot of the supplement brands, they got their different like Muscle Farm, I'm pretty sure provides something around electrolytes, but again, there's so many options with these supplements. You got to find. My recommendation when it comes to supplements, find a brand that's reputable. I know I ordered something from one of the suppliers I buy from, and they usually throw in some samples. One of the samples was it really clumped up. I mean, that's usually a sign of poor product. So you want something when you mix it, it dissolves, and that's usually a sign of good quality products. So that's just some advice there.
Nice. This is a great question because I think it really hits the nail on the head with something that I don't think we're very good at. Stretching. Did you incorporate a stretching day in your routine?
I probably should do more stretching. I'll admit. That is a good idea. I try to do a little bit of stretching after my workouts, but sometimes I do run into a time crunch where I might skip my stretches. I'll admit. But no, stretching is very good for the body to keep it loose, prevent injury, and trust me, I've had my injury back in the 16, which I've still tore a calf muscle, and it's still not quite the same. So that's another reason why I keep going for massages, just to keep it loose. And yeah, by doing that, I find I'm not having as many issues with it.
Yeah, it's when I think about that question in relation to when we're at championships, and so we're there for, Canadian Championship anywhere from 3 days to 7, even Westerns or Easterns where you're there for 4 or 5 days. I'm just not sure we spend a lot of time thinking about the stretching component, especially when it's cold or it's chilly. And that was a really good question. Something that
Yeah.
in the short term we probably don't pay a lot of attention to, but when we're at home and we're trying to take care of our fitness in preparation for something, is that part of our routine?
No, putter umpiring, I do make the stretching part. That's part of my pregame routine. I have to do it,
Right,
and I probably should do it a little more when it comes to my workout routine. I'll have to admit.
right.
Yep.
We just have another fitness enthusiast who's running like 1 hour a day, and so just thought that was a good question. We did have a follow-up question from the person who asked like the diet question. They were
Yeah.
thinking more like regular diet, like what would you do? How would you break down the percentages between carbs, protein, how many meals per day, calories,
Yeah, hard
foods that
to
you avoid?
for me to put a percentage to it, and I try to do my best to keep the protein up. The reason being is protein keeps you feeling full. I'm not a person that does a whole lot of snacking, so I think that's one reason why is I do load up on protein. So I try to focus that. I do have some carbs. I do tend to have a sandwich for lunch, so I get a little bit of bread in there. Usually start on my day with a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and then at night is when I probably get a good meal with some protein in it.
Thanks, Trevor. We have did Softball Canada bring in the fitness test for level 5 to help elite level umpires prepare for their WBSC test? I think this question is asking, is that the reason that Softball Canada brought it in? Or did Softball Canada bring it in? Softball Canada has made the WBSC fitness testing part of the senior women's and senior men's Canadian Championship, and I believe that the philosophy behind that decision was in fact to assist umpires in their preparation for that next step. I'm hoping that answers the question. We got another, I need information on strength training, again, from somebody who perceives themselves to be in a bit of an older bracket. So any advice for that person?
Yeah, someone who is older, the body weight exercise would still be great. If you find, the weight training is a little too much, even resistance bands, like they give you that constant resistance, but it's not overly intense, like something like a barbell or dumbbells or anything like that. But it will give you that would be my advice. Try resistance bands if you need something a little more than the body weight exercises. They're not hard on the joints. They give you constant resistance, and you're still getting resistance training in. So.
Trevor, when you say the body weight exercises, are you talking like that one slide where you had like
That's
planks
correct.
and
Yeah.
okay,
Basically, your no equipment exercises where
right.
you're basically using your body weight to produce that resistance.
Good old
I
push-ups.
find, yeah, they do work. For me, I like something a little more intense. So I still have my dumbbells I purchased 20 years ago. I'm glad I kept them because I'm using them more than ever now. And also the resistance bands is something I just added in, and the resistance tubing I introduced those first, but I think in my first 2 weeks I snapped one, so I needed something a little more durable. So I switched to the pull-up bands, and they're very durable. I got 5 different resistance types going on. I think the strongest band goes up to 200 pounds of resistance, depending on how you use it. So I can get a lot of resistance out of it. So
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
yeah.
I don't think my resistance band does that. I stand corrected. Somebody's put a little comment in the chat that the fitness testing is actually at the Canadian Championships from U19 and up. So even better that people who are vying for their level 4 get a chance to sort of experience that fitness testing at that stage. So thanks, Mike. Okay, so all that advice that you gave to that individual for the strength training who's in the older bracket, they do some of those, but they still have dumbbells too. So
Oh yeah, and sometimes you can combine both the resistance bands and the dumbbells together. When I do my goblet squats, I'll throw resistance bands on my feet and around my neck, and throw the dumbbell in just to give more resistance than the dumbbell will give, because my dumbbells only go up 40 pounds, and I know I can do a lot more than that. So if I want to throw extra resistance, I'll get the resist bands around my shoulders, and that'll give me a little more. Still not quite the same as having a barbell on your shoulders, but at least it's a little more than just your body weight.
Right. Well, I'm not going to tell you what weights I do because they're not 40. I'll tell you that.
No, again, it's what works for you, right? So, yeah.
So one of the questions I'm just making sure I'm catching everything in the. That's cool. So that was good. That person said she's not doing that, so that's great. When it comes to fitness, but actually just generally when we're trying to incorporate something new into our life, kind of research shows that establishing a routine is really important. So from when I was listening to you, Trevor, I'm hearing that like you have a pretty kind of set routine that you follow, and I'm just wondering how important is that for somebody who wants to create a new habit for themselves?
Yeah, it's very important to develop the routine, because I find now if I go outside that routine, then that's when I start feeling those effects of not having as much energy to get through that day, and it almost feels awkward now. So to avoid that feeling, I feel like I need to follow that routine now. So when I wake up in the morning, oh, time to work out. So, and even write down your goals, right? And revisit them. Sometimes they'll change over time, but for me, it's get up as soon as I'm out of bed, go straight do that workout. Whatever. Right now, I'm getting a plan that's emailed me every day. So I'll open up my email. Okay, this is what the plan is for today, and then I hit it. So I think that's the best thing to do. Develop your routine, and make it and be consistent about it, because once you lose that consistency, that's when you slip out of it. So yeah, so that's my advice.
Perfect. My last question for that particular point around establishing routines, and if for somebody that's just starting out on this adventure, like they've never thought about doing sort of a routine to prepare for something, and if they have yet a slide on equipment, but if they really don't have a clue of how to start with the equipment piece, what top 2 or 3 body weight exercises would you suggest for somebody that doesn't want to go out and buy dumbbells, or they don't have resistance bands, but they want to start doing that strength training?
Yeah, and I almost recommend starting off small, and if you do start off small, try to start with a full body routine, because I know a lot of the routines I'm doing right now are focused on splits. So one day it'd be shoulders, one day it'd be legs. For someone who just started out, I recommend a full body routine. So something like squats is a good exercise, push-ups, triceps extensions. Try to hit every muscle part, even your calf raises. I'm just throwing out ideas. And if you do have dumbbells, you can do shoulder shrugs just to work on your neck muscles. Try to hit everything, and you even do leg raises, like side leg raises, to get work on your hips. Especially for umpires, we need to focus on our legs, so we need that leg strength. So the lunges are good. If you have a bench, you can do step ups. They're good too. So there's lots of ideas, and a lot of those step ups you can even do it on your stairs. And I know that I even do my calf raises on the stairs. So there's household items that we can use to get that routine going.
Right. I just was thinking that really in some ways doesn't really matter how, or I'll ask you this, does it matter how good your fitness is? Fast pitch or slow, like fast pitch to squats are amazing. It's a really great preparatory fitness thing that we can do. But whether you're fast pitch or slow pitch, when you're on the bases and you've got, multiple umpires out there, there's instances where you have to go from almost like you're sedentary to like a sprint. And so
Yeah.
I think that's where we see like blown hamstrings or, torn quads. I don't know how you tore your calf, but I would imagine that that's an instance where you could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It was when I was pushing off. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that we can do in both games, because we both have that issue, to mitigate that particular injury?
Yeah, so there's explosive exercise that we can probably do, like thinking, a quick exercise that, where we're explosive is a sprint. You're starting off, and I like one of the tests is a 27-meter dash, so you could start with that, because that's basically from your starting point on the baseline to home plate. So that sprints would be good. I think that's explosive, like even something that I know I've been working my calves still. Like the jumping jacks are good for them. I'm just trying to think of some explosive exercise. Even your jump squats, if you got the room. Of course, I don't at home, but anything that's explosive can help with that. Can condition our bodies to take that in, right?
Cool. There's a question in the chat about whether or not that slide that you had on the body weight exercises, if they could be available. And I think to the gentleman that asked, they will be available in the presentation on YouTube, but I think that the printing was kind of small, Trevor. So if somebody emailed you directly, could you send it to them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So to the individual that asked, trevor.topping@gmail.com, and he can send you the list of the body weight exercises on that one slide. That actually, I would like it too, Trevor, because
Excellent.
So, and then I think we've got all the questions in the chat. So the last question that I'm going to ask, which I think is a super great segue into our next webinar on March 22nd, is COVID has really impacted people in a variety of ways. And one of them is the statistics that Health Canada has put out show that mental health issues have increased by 38% over the course of the last year. And I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing, how important has your physical workout regime been to your mental health?
Yeah, exercise is really good for that mental health, because yeah, especially first thing in the morning, I find it's what gets me through the day. So you get that rush of adrenaline going and full energy, and it's been very important for mental health. I'm used to being a busy person, so to be cooped up in the home, I have to admit it's been a little bit of a struggle, but because especially with playing sports, this is probably first year in how many years I haven't been put the skates on. So from that point of view, it's been tough, but be able to keep my workout routine, I find it's been vital to maintain that mental health.
Thanks, Trevor. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your enthusiasm for fitness. It's amazing to see like how much passion people have for what they do, and everybody has their own little niche. And so thank you so much for sharing. Getting a lot of positive comments about people really appreciating your presentation, Trevor. I don't know anyone who likes burpees, just for the record.
What? I still fight my way through them, but if you're gonna hear me complain about something, yeah, if you want to punish me, make me do burpees.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, thank you so much, Trevor. I can't thank you enough for sharing your time and your passion for fitness, and something that we can all benefit from. So thank you so kindly. So for those of you who participated tonight, thank you for coming. For those of you who will watch later on the recording, join me on March 22nd and Dr. Amber Mosowich, a sports psychologist from the University of Alberta, where we continue the discussion on fitness and self-care. Thank you so much. And Trevor, I hope you have a great night.
Yep, thank you.
Take care. Okay, bye all.